Never give up. You're about to listen to the Darla Z, live from the Hollywood Room on the Bootleggers Music Group Radio. Award-winning singer-songwriter Darla Z brings you her special guests who share intimate stories about their lives, how they became successful in their chosen fields, how they learned from their mistakes, and how we can all make a positive difference in the lives of others. Welcome to Live from the Hollywood Room with your host, Darla Z.
Okay, well, I want to say right now that it is an honor for me to introduce this lovely woman. She is probably one of the bravest women I have ever heard of. I'm so impressed with her. She is talking to us from Australia, Melbourne, Australia. And this lovely lady's name is Simone O'Brien. Did I pronounce that right?
You did, yes. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy and honored to have you on here because you are a woman who has a story to tell, and you have a story that is dear to my heart. I've written songs about hoping to inspire women that are suffering from domestic violence, and you are a survivor. You are a big time survivor. So I'm not going to get teary, but I did watch on your website today, SimoneO'Brien.com. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so I went to your website today and I watched a video that I believe was probably within 6 months to a year of your attack.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I watched it all the way through and it was remarkable. Now, fast forward 4 years, right?
So it's 12 years.
Oh, okay, gosh, I was dumb. So
No, that's all good.
I've been dumb before. It's not very often. No, I'm kidding. I'm dumb all the time. But so fast forward to today, and I have seen your audiences on your social media, and you're speaking to 1,000 to 2,000 people in Australia, all over Australia, internationally. And so now that I've perked everybody's interest, so why don't you just start at the very beginning?
Thank you. And do you know what? I, myself, and all my 3 children, I just want to put you into the little perspective of it all, to how it all started. So I separated from the children's biological father when, Zach was only 2.5, 3 years old. And
you have 3 children, right? 3 children?
Yes, I've got 3. Yes, yep. Gabby, Ashley, and Zach. And we didn't separate because of domestic violence. We separated because we had too much money too young. And he wanted to take me away. Let's go to Fiji. Let's do this. Let's do that. Do you know what? I just wanted to be a mum. I was a country girl by heart, and you never lose that country girl. And so we separated amicably, and I raised the 3 children by myself then, working 2 jobs because Gabby, my eldest, was a state basketball player. And in that time of separating, even with my mum and dad or my siblings or my circle of friends, there was no domestic violence. So I never knew anything about domestic violence at all, or neither did my children. We've never experienced it. And it wasn't until I realised, I got to the age of 37, and Gabby at that stage was 15, and Ashlyn was 12 and a half, 13, and Zach was 10. And not dating in that time because my children still came first in my life, and obviously working. And I thought to myself, am I too old to have another partner in my life? I've just devoted myself to my children. And I'm not a person to go, to pubs and clubs by myself, because I just have my children with me all the time. I thought, how am I going to meet somebody? And as you've experienced, and I've let you know this morning, I admit I'm not IT savvy, but I got on the internet dating site, and scrolling through the men on there, I thought, good or bad. And prior to children, I'd been in real estate, and here in Australia, you need to get a police check to get your real estate license. So when I was scrolling through, up popped a real estate man. I thought, oh, perfect. It was a light bulb moment because I knew he had to have a police check to get his real estate license. Yeah. So I actually clicked on him, and that's how it all, in the bit of the background story, just to to let you know with the police checks and, myself not experienced domestic violence and, how I got to that position of, starting my new relationship with the real estate man.
So, you liked his profile that he placed on his dating site, and
Yes.
so then I guess maybe for like the next 2 months you kind of talked
Yeah.
on the phone and corresponded.
Yeah. So for the first couple of weeks, I only chatted through the site because, I hadn't experienced it or, not having anyone else since the biological father of the children. And I had to put my boundaries in because my children came first. And so I said to him, we couldn't chat until 9 o'clock at night. And it was just start off through the text message to the site. Then it moved forward and he said, can I have your phone number? And we go through text through our phones. And I said, yeah, but still that 9 o'clock at night because, bathing, feeding and talking, having that family time with the children. And then he said, can I ring you? And so then we did go into the phone call and he asked, then can we go on a date? And he actually greeted me with a bunch of flowers at the door. He picked me up, but I still got a sitter for my children, even though, Gabby was 15 at that stage. And so we went off to dinner and,
Your oldest was
not,
15? Your oldest was
yeah, my
15?
eldest,
Okay.
15. Yes, yeah. And so, I still got, one of my girlfriend's daughters, she was 18, so she came over and sat with the children while I went off to dinner. So even at dinner, I'm thinking, I was very, very grateful. And I even got that gooiness when he gave me the flowers, like, oh, because not having been given flowers for years. And sitting at dinner, I was more worried about, who pays the bill? Do we pay halves? I not being out of the dating site for so long, I was, really felt really lost. But do you know what? I was very grateful he did pay and dropped me at home. And obviously, I had a nice night being able to dress up as a lady and going out. And from that time on, we did go into a relationship. And over a period of 9 months, little red flags grew. And I cannot emphasize enough around the world, any little red flag grows into a big red flag. And my little red flags were like my phone. I never had any issues with it prior to, him coming on the scene, but my contacts were being deleted. And so when it got to 3 or 4 times, I was blaming Zach, and I was grounding Zach for something that I figured out he didn't actually do. I said to him, mate, don't delete my contacts. I need the help from people to get you from A to B and da da da. And this poor little boy is saying, Mummy, it wasn't me. I didn't, and I can still picture him today, this cute little face. But when it got to 5 or 6 times, I then realized that, and excuse me for any men listening, I'm not against men at all. I just have got a story to tell. So I'm going to apologize, but I'm going to use the word perpetrator and you'll understand why. I had a gut feeling it was the perpetrator. So there was that, and then there was I was introducing him to my friends. They were so excited for me because I actually had a partner now, and so we were going up for dinner, and I was paying the bill because it was one bill per table, and my friends were giving me the cash. Well, that money out of my wallet was going missing, and once again, poor Zach, I was blaming him. Mate, don't take the money out of my wallet for tuck shop. Can't afford it. We've got 3 others and kids and sport and whatnot. And he's telling me, Mummy, I did it, which I knew that he'd never done that before. And then I can remember one Saturday I was getting in a beauty bar and I was having my nails done, and he had Zach with me at the shopping centre, and I was taking my SIM card to go and get a new phone, and he offered to go and do that for me. And I thought, oh, that was really nice. Not used to being in a relationship that you work as a team type of thing. But he came back and he said, they can't do it. Your SIM card's got a split in it. I thought, oh, that's weird because
Your SIM card's got what?
A split in it, like so you couldn't use it then. Because it had that split. Yeah.
So he stole your SIM card, is what he did.
Yeah. And then he started sending me flowers to work, which I know I should be very grateful, but it wasn't just one bunch every couple of weeks. It was every day. It actually just made me feel really sick in the tummy. And this is where now, male or female, please run with your gut feeling, because this wasn't good feeling for me. And there were a lot of other little things, like Zach's iPad going missing and that. And, I was just thinking Zach was leaving it at sport and whatnot. And the detectives did find out after the hearing that it was the perpetrator stealing things off of me and selling them and, flogging them off. But he was a gentle giant that would open the car door for myself and the children, and didn't even say a naughty word of like shit in front of myself or the children. And the real turning point was when he did start sending the flowers to work. And I actually rang a friend on the Friday prior to the 25th of September 2012, which was a Monday. So I rang this friend on a Friday, and I said, how do I get out of this relationship now that I'm in it? She said, let's do it on Monday when you drop the children at school. Do you know what? I felt like I was the bee's knees, that I had so much support, that because she'd told me, guided me, helped me, guided me. So no, I got through the weekend, and the Monday morning came, and I dropped the two girls. Ashlyn and Gabby were in high school, so they had to catch the train then to their high school. And Zach was still in primary school, so I dropped him. I actually take him into the school, and then I caught the train to work, and sitting on the train thinking, now how do I end this relationship? Now that I'm doing it today, I said, thought to myself, do I text, email, or do I ring? I did the gutless way, and I just sent a text. And anyway, back then, obviously, we don't have our phones like we have them today, like they're like a computer to us. And so I was in a government job, and because he couldn't actually come into my office, that was a reason why he was sending me flowers, being in the government building. And so when I got to work and worked to lunchtime, and obviously wasn't checking my phone, and got to lunchtime, had my lunchtime break, and I could see that there were hundreds of text messages on my phone. And
in one day?
In one day, yes, one day. So this was like even just a few hours. And I didn't reply or open them up. And then the afternoon, went back to work, and then I caught the train back home, and my goodness, hundreds more. And as I speak to you today, I've never opened them or looked at them, obviously, because the detectives had to get my phone in the end. Yeah. I've never seen my phone again. And so got home, it was 6:00, and Zach, who was 10, was at basketball training this night. And the two girls were at home, Gabby and Ashlyn. And Gabby was not only my oldest daughter, but she was my best friend. We ran everything off of each other. And so she actually always would start cooking dinner for me, getting home at 6:00. And I walked in and I said, hey girls, how you going? How's your day? Typical, they say, oh, boring, nothing, didn't learn anything at school, And I said to them, oh, Mummy, in a good relationship today. Gabby did this big fist pump, said yes. And Ashlyn said, Mummy, will he come back? And I explained, life skills. I said, no, you just separate. When you separate, you just go your own ways, like myself and your biological father, and da-da-da. And anyway, then there was a knock at the door, and I could see through the little glass panel on the door that it was the perpetrator. And my dad always taught me to be respectful and, life skills. If someone comes to you or walks past you, you say hello and greet them, type of thing. So I went and opened the door, and he said, can we talk about this? And I said, yeah, sure. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I was think of my dad, because, I hadn't spoken to him. And he goes, can we go into your bedroom? And I said, yeah, sure. No dramas, with the girls there. And he shut the door, and I walked in, obviously, as I was in my corporate clothes. And the only question I can actually remember before the attack that he asked was, can we please make this work? And I was honest. I said, look, I've got, 3 children, 2 jobs. I said, life's too busy, and I can't give you 110% of my love. I said, that's what you deserve. I said, let's be friends. And in my group of circle of friends, I can, we can match up with someone else. And that was all I can remember. And the next minute I know I was on the ground, and I looked up, and the detectives don't know if I tripped because I have my high heels on, or he actually forced me down. But you can see on my arm here, I've got a scar. So I actually had my arm up like this because a baseball bat come down on my arm. And I knew my arm was broken because it was dipping at this stage. And I knew the girls were outside the door. So yeah, I said, girls, come in and help Mummy. Darla, I honestly thought I was going to die, because I looked up and I said, go get mummy help, go get mummy help. And Gabby's eyes looking at me, it was like, Mum, you can do anything. You can fix the car, the house, you know, being that single mum, determination. But you know what, Darla? I tried to push off on this arm that was broken, and the bone was out, so I couldn't push myself up. The girls did run in and out of the home to get help. And this is now my open vision. I don't care, you know, what sex you are, what nationality you are, what you look like, you know, what language you speak, because I actually had two different countries on either side of me. One was Samoan and one was South African. If it wasn't for those two different countries, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. They had to put their life on hold and come, and they eventually came and helped, because they thought the kids were just playing games, because there was no domestic violence in our home. And Gabby did ring 000, and they did accidentally hang up on her. But they could tell the angst in her voice that they came back. They retrieved the call, and they were there within seconds. But by the time 6:06 to 6:16, in that 10 minutes, I was fighting for my life, because I actually endured 45 to 50 hits to the right side of my face. So I will never look like a beautiful woman like yourself again, because obviously I've lost my eyesight here. This whole side is now titanium plated with an implant here. And I've lost my sense of smell here, and all my jawline was all smashed in. You know, that I lost teeth and everything. And so the Samoans came in, and the detectives were there, and they actually had to take the two big Samoans, take the perpetrator outside, and they weren't, obviously they were told not to hit him or do anything to him, but they did tell me that they did get a knee in his back and place his face into the dirt till the divvy van came. The South African lady, she worked in pathology, and she see when the kids were saying, Mummy, you know, has got a broken arm, because the children only seen my arm at this stage. And so they were saying, you know, Mummy's got a broken arm. And so she ran in apparently saying, I need ice for Mummy's arm. She had one look at me. She actually knew to wrap dry towels around my head. And if it had been wet towels, it would have killed me instantly, because obviously my brain was all exposed. So I was apparently conscious at this time still, and I was telling her I've got to get up and get the kids dinner.
So
and then
conscious? You were conscious?
Yes, I was still talking to her apparently at this stage. And I said, you know, I need a tissue to wipe my nose, and she knew my face was just mush. It was just actually blood running down my face. And then once the ambulance, the doctor got there, they seen me, and apparently I was in excruciating pain.
Yeah.
And they did have to put me into an induced coma at the scene, and that's where the children thought that I'd actually died at the scene.
Yeah.
Because of the swelling of the brain, that I would have died on the way to hospital. But this is where, you know, being hit 45 to 50 times to the side of the face is where I really turned my story into a positive, because I've actually got to thank the perpetrator for hitting me so many times. And this is what the ambulance doctor have said, because he hit me so many times, he actually shattered my skull. So with any brain injury, I'm no doctor or no nurse, but with any brain injury, your brain swells. So because he actually hit me so many times and shattered my skull, it was actually able to move with my brain. And so that actually saved my life. But going into the hospital and being operated on that night, they didn't think I was actually going to make it. So the children had to come in. They obviously went from home to the police station and had to do statements and things. And they had to come in at 2 a.m., which on the 26th of September, which Darla just brings emotions, tears, because they had to say goodbye to me. But that's actually Ashlyn, my middle daughter's birthday. And it's something now, the mental side of it, she still doesn't cope today. So it's domestic violence just doesn't affect the survivor, the victim. It affects the ripple effect. And so my children are still getting help as I speak to you today, and obviously so am I. But so they had to come in and say goodbye to me, you know, on her birthday. And obviously I got through that night, and then I had to go back again the next night, and they're giving me 3 to 5% chance of survival. But they did say, look, if Mummy does come through, she'll be a vegetable, tube fed, you know, won't be able to walk or talk or anything. And so I got through that night, and then the first 10 days they did tell them it's touch and go. On the ninth day, a work colleague came in to visit me, and obviously I was still in a coma. And he must have said to me, "You're going to get through this." And I must have shook my head. And the nurses and doctors just said, "Look, she could have an itch, she could be healing, she could have a pain." So obviously that was the first 10 days. And then eventually, waking up in ICU and going through the endless rehab as well. I have had 52 operations to you.
Yeah, 52?
As I'm 52, and I've got 2 more to go. But you know what? I'm a prisoner in my own body now for the rest of my life, because I've got to have treatment, a form of treatment every 7 to 10 days now for the rest of my life. Just the simple things, like my jaw. If I don't have work on that, I'll never have a jawline like a normal adult woman. So the only positive is I can't pick up a junk food burger and eat it because I can't open my mouth like yourself now.
You are beautiful, Simone.
Oh,
you really are.
You.
You're beautiful.
I've learned a lot about ourselves, and if I can say it to us all, male or female, I've never loved myself prior to this, but I actually do love and respect myself now, not in a snobbish way at all, but just giving that self-care back to yourself, then to be able to do stuff like I'm doing with you today is best, which helps with my mental health and all that as well.
Wow, there's so much there. I want to go back to what I think was, I don't know if you believe. I didn't ask you before we started, and depending on how you answer, we may want to cut it, but I don't know if you believe in God.
Yes, and do you know what? The angels were looking after me.
Okay, so that's what I was going to get at, because I believe for those 2 guys that are your neighbors to come running in when there's an attack going on, and if they had not, you would have been killed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So that right there has given me goosebumps, and then so you've got that. Then you've got the fact that you overcame them saying that you're going to be a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
That went away. And then you've gone through all these massive surgeries to the woman you are today, making such a positive difference in the lives of domestic violence women. It's just really awe-inspiring.
Thank you. And just in that mindset thing, just going from the brink of death, I was asked to run the New York Marathon, which is the world's biggest marathon. And I did it just to prove to us women and children around the world, if we set our minds to something, we can do whatever we like. And that's my thing in beating domestic violence now is running the world's biggest marathon from the brink of death. Let's keep going. Let's keep doing what we're doing.
And that is our motto for the show. I mean, the show is never quit, never give up.
Absolutely.
And and that is you. When you talked about the red flags, I saw on your website, you've got them, you've got like 1, 2, 3, I think it's 6 of them. Belittling attitudes, inconsiderate actions, controlling behaviors, telling lies, stealing, cutting you off from your friends or family. And those are the ones that you felt like were there, but you didn't recognize at the time.
That's what I said any little red flag is a big red flag. And this is where I want women and men do suffer from our victims, survivors as well. And meeting this perpetrator and him being in real estate, when I asked him, have you been married? Have you got any children? He said no, which I believe, because I did it before children. It's a single person's job, or when you're older in life.
It's unfathomable that someone would lie about that.
Yes, absolutely. And then it wasn't until after the actual trial, which was 2.5 years after the assault, and his face went around Australia, and from that, 2 wives came forward. He actually assaulted both of them, and they didn't report it. So my message there with the red flags is, if this first wife had spoken up, he wouldn't have got his real estate license because he would have broke the law. He beat both of them. So
Okay.
my message in there is speak up. You're not alone,
Yeah, they
because
should have spoke up.
absolutely, because if they did, he wouldn't have got his real estate license
Right.
he wouldn't have got his real estate license from the police check, because he would have failed that. So that's how I shouldn't be here today talking to you about domestic violence if that first wife had spoken up. So my message on all that is we need to save our next generation coming through. We've all got aunties and nieces and daughters and siblings that I don't want anyone to be affected by domestic violence. So just to let men know that they're not alone to speak up. It's a-okay, because we need to stop these perpetrators keep going through our generations.
Yeah, and I was on the mistaken belief because when I was writing that song to all the
Mhm.
Gabbies in the world, and I actually had a friend who had gone through some domestic abuse, and then Gabby Petito and her story, which
Yeah.
she didn't make it.
No.
God bless her
Yeah.
soul. But I actually thought that most women had a history of abuse. And so your story is different from what I thought was more the norm. And
Yes.
it's actually scarier because those red flags are super important at this point, because it's not
Absolutely.
like you're going after somebody because you have a history of it, or you go after the same kind of guy who's abusive or controlling or something. You didn't do that. You just
No.
were a woman that wanted to find a friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And that police check was my safety barrier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I'm glad that your story is that we're getting it out there for this reason, because other people may think the same way as me. In fact, after your show airs, we're going to be doing a series or a show with a woman named Dr. Britta Ostermeyer, and she is a psychiatrist, and she's going to talk to us about this domestic violence and maybe other warning signs or things you can look in the character of people and things like
Wow.
that. But I was not aware that women just could be abused and that they just picked the wrong guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those controlling behaviors, and that's going back to the little red flags that I noticed from deleting my contacts. That was because he was trying to take me away from my friends and the kids'
Right.
sport, because he didn't like me obviously going out and taking the kids to their sport and that. So
So the
yeah,
flowers all the time, that just gave you the heebie-jeebies. I mean, it just,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that sick gut feeling that, oh my goodness, he's so controlling. And because he couldn't get into my workplace, obviously my work colleagues are going, oh Simone, he's a keeper, awesome. But he was letting them know too that I had a partner in his life, so that he
oh
wasn't
yeah,
being left. So there was a catch to it. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah,
yeah.
it just made me feel yeah, not the best. So I was being disrespectful, after him buying all these flowers, but I just didn't feel comfortable with him doing that.
Well, that also is a red flag because your gut instinct, your gut, I believe that's another thing that God gives you
Absolutely.
is intuition, and it
Yeah.
was telling you to get away. And God bless you. It's amazing that you survived, and then now what you're doing and how strong you are and talking to people. I think that's wonderful. I mean, just there's not even enough words to describe that. You mentioned in one of your interviews that you were embarrassed about what had happened to you.
Mhm.
And the girl asked you, and you said that a lot of domestic violence victim women are embarrassed. And so, what would you like to tell them to encourage them to not be embarrassed and to speak out?
Yeah. And that's to three things I say to myself now is each on a daily basis: stay positive, never give up, and keep smiling. I really emphasize to women is to learn to love yourself, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. It is a tough time getting out of domestic violence. I'm not model calling that at all. It's horrible, but the supports are there. You know, you can lean on people to help get you through. And I admit, up until even speaking with you today, and I know for the rest of my life, I'm having counseling and Reiki, because I want to be the best form of Simone. I want to, the hurdle that I've endured, and just having the best. So my message to any male, female that's going through it, please reach out. You're not alone. It's not scary. The support is there. And Darla, even speaking to young kids, I've had a year 11 girl come up to me and say, some crying and just saying, Simone, she goes, my dad's been sexually assaulting me for 8 years.
Yeah.
Like it's making people feel comfortable that they will open up. And yeah, just to let any victim, survivor, that the support's there. And on the flip side of it as well, if there's men here listening that are going through a tough time and not being able to control yourself, I've started speaking to perpetrators, either coming out of jail or going in, which I never thought I would ever be able to do. But you know what? I actually find that relieving a lot of my shoulders too. And I tell them to own what they've done, and then go out and do what I'm doing, turn their story into a positive, so we can help change our next generations coming through that are going, are in a dark space. But that ripple effect too of speaking to perpetrators is when I go into schools, I've got young girls and boys coming up thanking me for helping save their family because their dad's pleaded guilty. He's having the help, and they've got a new normal life as a family. So
Wow.
speaking up, you're not alone. Either sex, the help is there. Mental depression, can play a big part of domestic violence. So,
Yeah.
get help for yourself. And that's where now I'm not embarrassed to say, I actually, I love myself for who I am, and knowing I can give 110% now out to whoever I'm helping in the future.
Well, we're going to put on in Australia, I'm sure you have a national helpline, a domestic abuse helpline. So I'll get that from you and we'll put that on the screen. And then in America, we also have it. And you're
Okay.
right, there are support groups available for people, but it's taking that first step and realizing that you can't stay with it. And that's where, I mean, you were able to see it. So
Yes. Yep.
you stopped it. Now some of them will stay with it and then keep taking it and
Yeah.
stay and think that's their life. I interviewed a lady that she was raped, her mom was raped, her sister was raped, and they were in gangs, and everybody in her family was abused and
Yeah.
they thought it was normal.
Normal. That's exactly right. And that's why, getting into speaking to little preppers as young as 5, I actually, in one of the perpetrator men's behavior change programs, a guy actually self-referred himself because he could see what he was doing to his 5-year-old daughter, what his dad used to do to his mum and dad. And having our next generation speaking to them at 5, yes, they're putting their hands up saying, miss, miss, miss. But you know what? At least then we can fix something then, if it's affecting their schooling as well. So changing,
Yes.
the mindsets, yeah, all round. On that note too, like how you said before, women didn't even realize, they were just going through the motions, they were staying.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Is, 3 simple words. Check in, if you've noticed something different on a friend, or she's not turning up to things, or she's covering her body on a hot day, ask her, not just once or twice, are you okay? Is everything okay? Ask her 5 or 6 times. Be that nagging mum like me, and she'll or he will eventually say, oh, he did, strangle me last night, or he hasn't been giving me any money. And that's a little red flag that then you can just go, let's go and get some help. that will be a comfort
Yeah.
zone. So
Yeah.
my message on that is be a nagging mum and check in to make sure if you've got a gut feeling that someone isn't in the right space, keep
And
nagging it.
that's how you help friends or family or people that are in this situation. I didn't realize until like I was doing the research for that song and stuff like that. My neighbor, I mean, it's so
Absolutely.
prevalent. I had no idea what an epidemic it is.
Yeah,
How many
absolutely.
people are abused. And so, and I'm talking like you said, sexual abuse or domestic violence abuse or both. So do you have advice for people in the workspace, maybe employers, and in what they should do to help educate their employees?
Absolutely. And that's a crucial thing because a workplace can be a safe place for people going through domestic violence to go to, they want to go to work. So here in Australia, a lot of the big corporates have got policies and procedures in place now that with domestic violence leave and all that type of stuff, and having counselors and that social workers in the workplace that people can go to, and this is something that everyone has to look out for each other. If I'm not going into work but I'm saying my daughter's sick but my daughter's at school, he might be just keeping me at home that I'm not allowed to go to work. So
but he's going to want to keep the money coming in. So the work, I get it. That's a very good idea that it is a safe space because they'll want you to keep bringing the money in.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's unpacking, really look at your friends. You get to know your friends, and because of the crisis we are in with domestic violence around the world, we've just got to really, look out for each other. Check, are you okay? And make it that it's not embarrassing. And that's why I'm turning my story into positive to let everyone know. Let's talk about it and let's do what we can to help each other.
Excellent. Well, I cannot tell you what a pleasure it is to speak with you and what a joy it is. And I love your courage and your will and your tenacity and your honesty. And you've just got so many beautiful traits, and you should love yourself because you are, like I said earlier, beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. And I don't, if you make me cry.
That's teamwork.
It's about 10 times today. So anyway, Simone, I want to thank you so much. Again, your website is SimoneO'Brien.com. She's available for speaking engagements, and you can hear for yourself what a riveting speaker she is, and honest, and she can help you. She can help victims. She can create awareness, and you need to hire this woman. I'm telling you right now. So thank you again, Simone, and
thank you so much, Darla. It's been lovely.
God bless you.
Yes, and you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
It means a lot.
You have been listening to Darla Z, live from the Hollywood Room on the Bootleggers Music Group Radio. Be sure to check out all our shows and download our app at www.bootleggersmusicgroup.com. The Bootleggers Music Group is dedicated to bringing you uplifting, educational, and inspiring shows for the love of God, one tune, and one show at a time. Be sure to visit Darla Z at www.darlaz.com to learn more about your award-winning host. Thanks for listening to or watching the Bootleggers Music Group Radio. Executive producer, Paul E. Jones.